Mumbai is a city of 11 million people, constantly in motion. But if you rely on the local train network, there is a very specific, sharp panic that hits when you check your watch and realize you've just missed the final train of the night. Past midnight, that sprawling infrastructure goes quiet. The massive crowds drain away, leaving behind vast, empty concourses and echoing footsteps. At this hour, physical exhaustion takes over. The human brain, desperate for sleep, starts looking for shortcuts. It becomes highly susceptible to ignoring obvious environmental warning signs if it thinks there is a quick way home. That is exactly the mental state our college student is in when he spots a lone, flickering light illuminating the sign for Platform 6, a platform that, until tonight, did not exist. Urban legends take hold through a slight fracture in everyday logic, tempting the victim to step closer and investigate the anomaly themselves. Looking closely at this new platform, the physical evidence contradicts the rest of the station. Instead of polished, heavily trafficked rails, the tracks here are rusted. It looks like an abandoned stretch illuminated only by a cold, isolated blue light. Confronted with this bizarre sight, the tired commuter attempts to fill the vacuum of logic. Instead of running away, he assumes it must simply be a new, unannounced station extension. He has unknowingly crossed into a liminal space. These are threshold areas, transition points where the normal rules of physical reality, time, and safety are temporarily suspended. Inside this zone, the standard background noise of a transit hub vanishes entirely. There are no garbled speaker announcements, no moving crowds, just absolute, heavy silence. The architecture of this space is entirely passive. It requires the victim's own curiosity to bridge the gap between the safety of the main concourse and the waiting danger. The silence breaks with the sharp crackle of a dead speaker. Then comes a deep grinding sound. A dark, rusted train pulls into the station. The vehicle itself is completely out of place. Its exterior paint is faded and peeling, the windows are dim, and it rolls to a halt at an agonizingly slow speed. Inside the cars, the seats are full, yet none of the commuters are moving. They sit perfectly still, entirely unblinking, and stare straight ahead into the dark. Then, with terrifying synchronization, every single passenger slowly turns their head toward the student. Their faces stretch into unnaturally wide, identical smiles. By mimicking the recognizable shape of a late-night commute, the trap disguises a predatory lure. It uses the illusion of normalcy to draw the victim into striking distance. The brain finally catches up to the visual data. As the rusted train doors slide open, the student realizes he is in immediate danger, and his instinct to retreat kicks in. But the physical space around him has already started to break down. The concrete platform is stretching backward, elongating into infinite darkness, swallowing the exit. The overhead speaker crackles again. A voice states, "You missed it." He refuses to step inside, but the voice responds, "You already did." Within the architecture of a liminal trap, physical movement is irrelevant. The moment he acknowledged the anomaly and engaged with its logic, the psychological capture was complete. Everything goes black. When the student opens his eyes, the platform is gone. He is sitting directly inside the rusted train car. His hands are locked firmly on his lap. He tries to move his legs, turn his head, or stand up, but his body is perfectly still, entirely paralyzed. These are previous victims, caught by the exact same lure, and forced to sit staring straight ahead into the dark. The anomaly is biologically efficient. It doesn't consume its prey. It preserves them, forcing them to serve as the smiling bait for the next iteration of the cycle. Unable to blink, the student watches through the dim window as the train pulls into another empty station. Outside, a new confused passenger steps onto the phantom platform. The rusted doors slide open once more. The speaker crackles to life, announcing "Final boarding" to the confused figure standing exactly where he stood just moments ago. This diagram maps a self-sustaining predatory loop with 3 distinct nodes: the lure to attract the mind, the capture when logic is questioned, and the reset. There is no exit. The system requires a constant feed of lost commuters to maintain its existence. The midnight commute carries a hidden dread, a train designed never to arrive.